in my veins, I've been driving this train. Years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play, and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capped in space. I won't stop till I hear him say, oh, oh, la, 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 la. Man, I'm up again. I got tired eyes, need a cup of blend. That's right, in the AM, that's my only friend. No light, just the sun coming up on the horizon. I lose track of time, yeah, I move fast and climb a new class divine, yeah, true passion shines. And I'm through passing time, I choose stacking dimes. You snooze half the time while I move passing by. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capped in space. I won't stop till I hear him say, oh, oh, la, 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 la. her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad. After her there ain't no coming back. Wanna take a run at that? I think she's feeling me. Turn it up a few degrees. My imagination of her body gets the best of me. Oh gosh, she's such a tease. Bitten lips, bruised knees. I'm addicted to her, need her touching me. Cause she got a bad little waist, and we tearing down this place. Off the liquor that we chase. Got some egos to the face, baby, I don't need no space. Coming closer for a taste, and I'll show you how I make everything just fade away. Cause she's like sex, drugs, cocaine, body so insane. Jealous of the clothing that she wears up on a tight frame. All game, no shame, baby came here to play. I feel like an addict cause she's sex, drugs, cocaine. Got a fine little body and her mind's kinda naughty. They say that once you taste it, you cannot replace it. She could get you high, all the dopamine inside triggers fast once she's naked. Her body's a creation. They say the devil made her for his entertainment, but even he couldn't learn how to contain it. Her high heels make a damn good statement. There is no replacement, a body by Satan. She got a bad little waist, and we tearing down this place. Off the liquor that we chase. Got some egos to the face, baby, I don't need no space. Coming closer for a taste, and I'll show you how I make everything just fade away. Cause she's like sex, drugs,
Hello, testing, testing. Can you guys hear me? Alright, thanks Kovics and Note for coming in. Alright, got my notes here. I'm timing myself. We agreed we're gonna run this only for 1 hour. Alright, I just need you guys help really quick. Can you guys see the Discord by the way? Because we're gonna work this all on Discord. Can you guys at least read it? Alright, cool. Right. So with no alright, I'm guessing. Let me check my notes. Okay. Alright, I hope you guys have read the prerequisite thing I post on the Not Bounty Board channel. That there are some expertise about this. I don't know what you call this, class, workshop, whatever. It's just some uh thing I want to help help out people who are thinking about trying to become FC for another world. I hope you guys can hear my voice. Yeah, Hibiki mostly, but I hope it will help for other people who has been thinking about joining as well. About trying to run a game for another world, basically. All right, we'll go to another world Discord. Okay, first thing first. You guys ever think about? You guys have some rough idea about running a game. You don't have a full idea right now. Just think about a concept right now. Let's just say I want to run a game about whatever, breaking and entering, stealing things for a client, something like that. And then you just say you go to the Q channel and say and you ping CM. I'm not gonna ping actual CM right now, they're busy. And then say requesting backstage for B BNE, something like that, right? And then you ping CM, and then you do this. I delete it right away so I don't bother them. Okay, you do this in the hub channel, and then you go to the uh, game channel. Currently it's chapter 4, so you just go to the chapter 4. You do the same in this in the queue here as well. It's very important in whatever things you post in queue. Make sure if it's has something to do with the channel, with the game channel, post it in both queue as well. Post it here and here, and then you just wait for CM to make your backstage, and then usually you will get a ping. uh, you will get the green tag here, like Arthur here, the firefly catcher, with your name. So what happens is usually you will gain access to some of the categories that would be invisible for you when you were adventurers. So I can see multiple channels here because I'm a council member, or else you could just see your backstage here. Uh, I've already made a channel for myself. So usually a CM will make a backstage for you here, and then it'll tag you, hey dude, your backstage is ready, and then you can just start right away. Uh, Once you got to your backstage, what you need to do is to copy paste templates and notes that you need for the DM notes for the backstage. Uh, there are two channels where you can get these notes. You go to FC report guide here, and then you copy the bounty post. This is the thing that you see in the not bounty board channel most of the time. Here all the quest posts here, right? So this is where you find them. You want to copy this and put this in your backstage. I need to be careful not to click on other backstage. Alright, the description is will always be inside the black box. Alright, you copy paste this thing here. And then next you go to the template backstage here, the template backstage. And then here you want to copy the encounters list. This is the thing, is this is very important because when CM hop into your backstage to review, this is the one of the first thing they'll check the balance of your encounter, because we always have a lot of encounters issues. You want to copy paste that and put it below the the bounty post. So that's two notes what you want to copy paste. And once that done, here comes the best. Here comes the actual DM notes for your story. All right. So one of the fastest way. Oh, hold on. Before I continue, you guys got it so far, or am I going too fast? You guys can tell me to slow down if you want. I'm just trying to catch up with the 1 hour time here, because I have to say the DM notes thing is a lot. I might have to break this into two parts, but we'll see. We'll see how much we can get within an hour. Uh, all right, I'll continue. After you got two these nodes copy pasted, you want to make your DM notes. One of the easiest way I've come up with, not come up with, I mean the one I found, the one I've been using to whip out multiple adventures get approved right away, like some sort of a McDonald's fast food, is just to simply use the 5 room dungeon. If you remember, let me see. Let me just drop it here. We have 5 rooms that represent different encounters and challenges that your players can go through. Just P C and R. So you have E for the entrance or guardian. And then you have S for setback or traps. You have P for puzzles and or RP challenges. RP challenge. C for climax are boss fights, and finally R for reward and or revelation. Excuse me. Right. So the letter you see here above all these the details here, these letters emoji here, is represent your the map of your dungeon. Basically, you can arrange it however you like. This is let's say you want it to have a branching path after the entrance, right? So you put it with a black small square emoji. So see, you already have a branching path from E. You can go, the players can go to P or S, and then both branching paths can go back to C, where they can have a climax battle, and then to R. See, it's simple as that. You already have a dungeon. You can make it either as linear as possible, or a lot of branching path if you want. It might look what's the word, too simple right now, but believe me, your players will, you know, make it longer. They make the game longer themselves. They'll have a conversation, they'll have a an argument. They'll take a lot of time to make to resolve these stuff. All right, so we have the entry. So we have the map, the map for the dungeon. Now we need to fill in these rooms. So I have some sort of a formula of sort to fill in this room as well. You can get even more detail about this method from a video by Runehammer. I'm sorry, Runehammer, called Trap Theory. Basically, it's used some sort of a modular uh, challenge elements in the room. It gives players a purpose, some hindrances, and perhaps some edge or things you can use. You can play around. It's a playground elements in the room that they can mess about and interact with. Some of these elements are, let's say, we start in entrance and guardian. Let's say I decided that the in this dungeon, the entrance will have a guardian of sword. Some sort of monsters are, watching after the entrance. So these elements I'm talking about is bait. The first one is bait. It's the purpose why, things that drive our players. It could be as simple as a treasure chest or an escape. Let's say once they enter the foyer of the dungeon, you trap them inside, and then you like maybe the entrance where they came from collapse, or it shut shut it shuts by itself, and they can see they need to get out of here. Perhaps they're in danger or something, and the only escape is the door on the opposite side. Next is switch. The next element, things they can play around with. Switch. A switch, it could be a lever. It could be a switch. We have a bait, we have a switch. Just to be funny. A switch is things that activates stuff inside this room. It could very well change the circumstances going on in the game, in the room, in the encounter. It could also what's the word? It could also turn the tide of battles in your favor or make it worse. Who knows? It could be a trick switch that actually activate a trap that make things worse for them. Who knows? It's up to you. Next element is the monsters. Here's a no-brainer. You can usually I would just put it here, like encounter 1 or encounter 2. So when CM see this, the encounter thing, they can just refer back up to the encounter list where I have made the which encounters, group encounters I'm using at the time. So that's for monsters, easy. And then next is a confined space. Here's the thing about what makes room to be engaging. They usually, you put them in a place, either trap them inside the room, or you force them to stay inside. It could be like a hostage situation. It could be you actually trap them, perhaps either like I mentioned before, like the door is magically shut, or maybe the previous entrance are collapsed, things like that, that put them in a space where you can, um, you know, uh, really force them to face a certain situation. You can use walls, doors, trapdoors, whatever, to keep them inside a room. You notice that a lot of traps works like that. You put the victim inside a confined space and then have them face the harm. Speaking of harm could be a threat, things that hurt your players, things that would really scare them. You don't really have to hurt them, but perhaps it could be, things that would really, well, besides hurt them, is to scare them. It could be as simple as, I'll say, a spike on the floor, or like You know, in Indiana Jones, rolling boulders, things like that, a pool of acid, things like that, things that will hurt your PC, but not necessarily monsters. It's a different category from monsters. Next is trigger. Trigger are things that activates the traps or things going on inside the room. Maybe a pressure plate, a tripwire, tripwire, basic stuff. Pressure plate. You can go crazy with this. You can even say that maybe once they enter the room, they see head trophies lined up on the wall. But apparently, one of the head trophies are fake. It's actually the enemy poking their head through a hole on the wall, just pretending to be a dead head watching the players. And as they're passing by, they retract their head and then start warning the others inside the dungeon. Things like that. Things that will activate stuff inside the dungeon. And then keys. Next is keys. Keys are things that players can move around. You know, here's a really fun stuff. You can imagine you can find this inside computer games. Movable objects that can change the circumstance inside the game. Uh, it could be a crystal radiate with power that maybe it can, if you put a crystal near some sort of a machine, it will activate it, give you power, and then you can do whatever. Or you can probably push a statue and then push it towards a pressure plate and hold it down, right, to keep the door open so the rest of the party can escape. Things like that, something fun, things that can do besides trying to fight the monsters. Finally is weird machines. It could be anything. You don't even have to explain anything. Things that this is one of the thing that it might be similar to trigger. I mean the switch, but it provides some challenges and also perhaps some multiple purposes. Maybe it can disable traps or make it worse, or it could be I don't know, move the walls, whatever that could strike your creativity. You don't have to use all these elements. Let's say for traps, I just want to be simple, right? So I'm just in confined space. This is an example where I use some of the elements I presented earlier in this room. Let's say I'm working on the traps, on the trap here, confined space. Once they enter, the room, the entrance collapse by rigged explosions. The bandits inside knew they're coming. Once they know they're inside, they trap the players inside the room. And then what happened? Harm. The room slowly being filled up by poisonous gas. Some of you guys who have played my recent adventures, some of this stuff might already be familiar already. Okay, their bait. Usually I like to put bait below the confined space because it's really important. It's what drives our players right now. So their bait, it could be as simple as an escape. They try to be safe from the danger inside this room. And then you can let's say the key. Yeah, we just used our example earlier, a statue, a movable statue. It weighs as a person. And then finally, trigger, a pressure plate, a stone pressure plate under a torch. The torch here is like a marking of sort. It's like, imagine the entire room is dark and then the only thing that lit by the torch is a pressure plate. Is some sort of a hint if you want to leave for the players, like, hey, check this out, this place here is important. So you don't even have to explain. They put it two and two together. You're trapped in a room, you have a movable statue, and then you have a pressure plate. This pressure plate doesn't stay down. If you step on it, the door opens, right? It opens the door. Right. If you step on it, it opens the door. But if you step off, the door closes right away. So if they're dumb enough, right, one of them is gonna stay behind and die while the rest escape. If they're clever, they're gonna use the statue to move towards the pressure plate, to weight it down, and then everybody can escape. Or maybe they're going a step further, tie a rope around the statue, escape, and then yank the statue down, so the door will close. So the guest doesn't follow them, escape to another room. See, you give them an opportunity to be creative, but within a controlled situation, right? So that's one example. And then the best part is you can use these elements for the rest of the rooms. It doesn't have to be a trappy like. It could be like, like for example, in this room it's just puzzle and challenges. I don't have to include harm or monsters. I could just give them some sort of a puzzle, right? And the bait is to, I don't know, to escape. Maybe there's a treasure trapped behind iron bars, and they want to get it. They don't really have to get it, but if they want it, there's some challenges they have to go through using these elements. Then you can just keep using. Like I said, you don't have to use everything inside this trap theory thing. But that's how you fill in for the rest of the rooms, and then you got a solid game already. The best part is, if you can use it in the boss fight, it'll be really fun. Imagine like God of War 1. Like, you remember the scene where, I'm not sure if everybody have played God of War 1, but it has a lot of things like that. Like the Kratos trying to cross a field, but an archer is keep shooting at him, and then the only way to escape is he have to push the a crate to shield the arrows as he cross the field. He's basically using the key in the room to his advantage. See, something fun. All right. Are you guys follow so far? I hope I'm clear. I will answer any question later after the lecture. All right, we have 30 minutes left. I think I can cover all of the notes. We'll see. Okay. Next is hints and clues. This is one of the really cool stuff I borrowed from Sly Flourish, Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master. It's basically like the type as the what it said on the tin. It's hints and clues about the adventure that like a legwork of sort. But the best part is it's not static. It's something like you can just pepper around the adventures. Like, for example, let's say in hidden and clues, I could say the butler is actually the villain, things like that. But I just put it in point one. I don't even necessarily say you found a note, or an NPC tells you that no. You just put a hints and clues. You can say the fish is poisonous, or like the dungeon was built by an evil druid. Okay, things fun like this, things that really paint a picture in your adventure, and you need 10 of this. I'm not sure how many I have included so far. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then you just put 10 of this, and then you pepper it all over your dungeon. Let's say they said they entered the room and then said, I wanna roll a perception check to check the surroundings, see what I can come up with. And they roll decent enough, and then you can use this hint. Maybe after you use it, you can just cross them out. You drop the hint like you tell the player they can see some sort of tribal markings, or runes wrote in a druidic language all over the cavern walls. Kind of tells you that once upon a time this dungeon was a druidic cove, a druidic circle used to use this dungeon as some sort of a shelter, but now abandoned. Things like that, you know. And then, or maybe they found some sort of a crate full of weird stuff within the storeroom, and then as they rustled through, they found I don't know, a ledger, and then they read a note. Somebody wrote in blood that the butler is actually the murderer who killed the old master, things like that. And then you drop them anywhere inside the adventure. Like, I don't even have to say this hint dropped in the book. I could say it was told by an NPC, or maybe they deduced that from hints they collected in the adventure. You need 10 of them every adventure. If this adventure is a sequel, you scrap the rest of, or you reuse some of the hints that the player didn't discover during an adventure and reuse them for the next adventure. And then you will always have 10 new things, fun things the players can aid them to immerse in the world. So that hints and clues. Next is fantastic location. Right. This could be either, uh, you know, uh, like this entire dungeon could take place in one fantastic location, or you could have different rooms take place in a different fantastic location. What I mean by fantastic, so fantastic is like a fantastic location. I mean, like, things that players will really take note of. If you just say, "Oh, you come to a 30 by 30 room," it'll be just so boring. So there are two cheap ways to make a place fantastic, right? Scale and age. Uh, First, what you need is to give the place a name, like say Wolf Skull Hills, an engaging name, things that really pop out. It could be as corny as you like, and then uh, to make it fantastic, you say there's actually the dungeon is on the underground of a hill underneath a giant wolf skull. Giant ancient wolf skull. Like, you can imagine, like, there are already some an entire forest grew on top of the skull, and then a settlement has been built below, under the shade of this giant wolf skull. Bam! It's already a fantastic location. You already have a place for this dungeon. Is and then like with the hints and clues earlier, it was the settlement under the shade of giant wolf skull was built by a druid by a druid circle, now abandoned. There we go. We already have a fantastic location for the place. So you can either put it above the map, or you can, if it's different room, you can put it next to the room. That's fantastic location. Next is NPC. All right. For NPC, I know some of you guys out there who are fan of role plays, and then you like to include a lot of a name NPC, just colorful NPC, to interact with the players, and sometimes it went nowhere. Or sometimes you make an NPC and then players are more interested in the the Boba Fett syndrome. They're more interested in the NPC that you don't really care about, but the one that you put in there, you put time and effort to create them, and then they just don't care. So cut some slack for yourself. Like, and the players can decide who they're going to like. But the rule of thumb is you give some layers to NPC that you know they're going to interact with a lot of time, or NPC that they have grew to like. But usually the NPC that you actually want to give some layers are the NPC that are, like a quest giver, a mentor, or that actually NPC that actually matters to the story. And you don't really have to name every NPC. Like for the barkeep, you can just say, just call him barkeep. For the guards, for just call him guard, whatever. But unless players specifically ask for a name, just hand wave you whatever. It's kind of good idea to have a list of name. You say male, human, uh, Erin, Ron, John, Peter, whatever. And then you have a list of names handy. If the player asks for a names, you can just cross out one of the names here, and then you have a non-important NPC. Maybe you will become important in the future. See how our players interact with them. Yeah. So one of the best clue I heard about trying to create an NPC without spending too much time on them is to pick a memorable character that you know you can make impression of. Let's say Jim Carrey's The Mask. So this quest giver called I don't know, John Aaron, or maybe yeah, whatever, John Aaron. And then you switch, he have a personality of Jim Carrey's The Mask, from The Mask, but you can switch it up, maybe change the person's gender or race. So now you have John Aaron. It's not John, but it's a female now. So it's a female version of Jim Carrey's The Mask. You can just mimic the personality of this character. You basically, it's another reskin. You just reskinning the character that you can make impression of, familiar with the personality. Is like, the characters or actors that are staying free rent in your head. Use those. Cut some slack for yourself. So okay, do you guys follow so far? Well, improvise is good. If you can improvise everything, yeah, sure. But not, for beginners, not everybody can just roll everything from the top of your head. Oh, also, don't forget to just press enter. This is one way to save your DM notes, because sometimes you might delete everything by accident, and then you just edit it. Alright, next, after the NPC, remember, just keep it a handful of them, and a name list if you want. For monsters, it's preferably monsters. You just list a monster that might be related to the adventure. Let's say the adventure is about, in an infested ancient, once upon a time druidic circle, now infested by monsters. You can put in inside of a raging wolf spirit, or a insane druid, or a angry forest spirits. And then you look at it and say, Aaron, hold on, I never heard of any of these monsters inside the book. That's the thing. The hint about monster is never use monsters right out of the book. You never used it. You always you look through the monster manual. You pick your favorite stat block, and then you reskin it. You reskin it. You rename it into a creature or adversary that will be related, that will be relevant to the adventures. And if you can if you can get away with it, make these monsters human. Like maybe the raging wolf spirit could be actually a druid in disguise, or angry forest spirit is also a druid in this a druid or a madman in disguise. It gives some sort of that dark fantasy thing going, like you like imagine like the people in the settlement always talk about these monsters infested in the dungeon, and then when the players went in, they learn the truth and stuff. Excuse me, sorry about the sound, it's my alarm. uh it kind of I don't know, reward their bravery, for imagine like you're a hero, and then you enter the dungeon, and then you learn the truth of the world that not and then unknown to common people. That would be really rewarding, I think. Okay, we go back to why you never use monsters right out of the box. You always reskin it, always rename it, because let's admit it, nowadays 5e have already be familiar to a lot of people. Like that people like Roshi, for example, he can memorize. He can recall the monster stats from the top of their head. Everybody knows trolls regenerate. Everybody knows trolls' weakness are fire. Everybody knows vampires undead. You can. Everybody knows vampires can be killed by running water and radiant damage. And you don't want players to metagame, even if they can't help it, even if they it's up to us. It's up to us to surprise players with creatures and monsters that never know about. When imagine when you're a player right now, most of us are DM. When you play in the game, and then the DM whip out goblins. Goblins. Another kobold. Here we go again. She already met these monsters many times in different many other games. You want to surprise them, you want to catch them by the toes. Now suddenly they're on guard. Like, is this a goblin kobold tier monsters are we facing, or are these an owl bear tiers of monsters? Things that catch them off guard. Like I ran a game, a few game before, in another world. I just use a scary image, but really the monsters are just have a stats of a tiger, just a tiger. But I use a scary picture to describe it. I don't even give a name. I say something like a shambling tentacle abomination trapped on the floor, and then they avoid it like a plague. You want that back into Dungeons and Dragons. You want that feeling of dread and wonders into back into Dungeons and Dragons. So just avoid, if you can, using monsters out of the box, despite how tempting they are. I know, reading all these lores about monsters, but in Monster Manual, you're inspired by the lore. You want to try to run a game featuring these fantastical monsters, but instead try to inspired by the lore, not use them instead, because everybody read the Monster Manual anyway. So that's done with monsters. Finally, I mean, not finally, we still have a few more points we need to do before we're done. Next is a magic item reward. Okay, here's the thing for magic item reward. There's actually some sort of a formula, right? You there's some sort of a, like I said, there's some sort of formula you need to be aware of to reward your player. Uh, a, a prerequisite, if you know, for lack of better words, I think that's the correct word. I don't know. So in your list of encounters, right? At least one of them have to be hard, of a hard difficulty, for a party of 4 adventurers. There we go. That's it. And the magic item, if you can, if it can be, you know, be used by the monsters, or or against the party during the encounter. So I can imagine that the magic item will be in a boss fight in the encounter 3, I think. So like I said, it need to be in a hard difficulty for a party of 4. So here's a list that never been written everywhere, but I'm gonna give you anyway because you're gonna run the game. For level 1, to yield for level 1, they can yield a common magic item, and then level 2 they can yield an uncommon, and level 5, for remember, for a hard difficulty for a party of 4, level 5, they can yield a rare magic item. There are also other prerequisite for very rare, for legendary, but I'm not gonna reveal them right now. I'll tell you guys once you reach that level. So I encourage everybody to chase, to level up, to get to the tier level 5, level 15 tier. Oops, I said it. The next tier. Right, everybody needs to work their hardest to reach level 15. Even Sylvie is almost level 15. So you guys better catch up. Imagine going into a hard encounter in a hard game. You can yield a very rare magic item. It would be really cool. So yeah, work hard for that. And finally, you need to make sure the magic item is thematically with the adventure. Let's say isn't there was like a staff of druid or staff of woods, something like that. So use that for the adventure, or maybe, uh like, remember, our adventure is about uh an ancient, once druidic grove infested by monsters. So the magic item, try to find a magic item that related to adventure, that would be kind of makes sense for you to find here, like a druidic foci, maybe a statue, a figurine of power of beast, things that would hint towards a druidic magic, or a nature magic, or whatever. So that's for magic item. I mean, not any question. We'll do Q&A later. Yeah. You guys follow so far? I hope you do. All right. Now we basically done with the DM notes. We're gonna move back to the encounter. Okay, here's the thing. For balanced encounter, there are many ways to to get a balanced encounter. But so far, not a lot of people get it. But here's the easiest way. Here's the cheapest way to do a balanced encounter. Go to 5e tools. You go to the bestiary, and then use your encounter builder to build your encounter. Give me a sec. Let me load it. Alright, 582 is being dumb lately. I'm just gonna use the mirror. Right, so bestiary. You go to the encounter builder. And then, alright, so make your party. Let's say players, 4 players of level 1. You can add maybe another variant by clicking here to add a player. I'll let you discover the feature here, but basically you want, let's say you want to give them a common magic item, right? So let's say one encounter is hard, so you have bandit and flump. You just keep reroll to get a proper encounter, or maybe you can select and mix and match. See, try to make a best recipe for your party suffering. Here's a reasonable rule of thumb. You want the numbers, the quantity of creatures included inside the encounter. It needs to be either, if you can, equal or more than the numbers of party. Let's say the party is usually is 4 players. Try to get, I don't know, like here 6. That's reasonable. You don't want a roll a solo creatures, like I don't know, a copper dragon or whatever. You don't want to be a solo dragon, and you don't want it to be either too powerful or too weak. You want somewhere like a between easy and hard. Since this is a workshop for a beginner, I want you guys to avoid using deadly and absurd until you have gained some experience on your belt, because not many DM know how to maneuver around encounters that might wipe your party right away. Like some DM know how to hint the player that you guys should probably run away right about now. Things like that. So let's say I already make my balance encounter. It will be here. 4 wolves and 1 dire wolves. But we remember we don't want to use right out of the box. So I'm gonna. This is how you reskin it. You say 4. What was the word right just now? We made the monsters. Raging wolf spirit, right? Raging wolf spirit, and then you put inside the bracket with skin wolves. So this way your council members know that you are borrowing stats from these monsters, but you can go crazy with the naming and however they look like uh, in this part of the list. This is basically how you reskin the monsters. So right, imagine I make 3 of the encounters. So we have the DM notes, we have the encounter list. Finally, we can make the hook. All right, so we can make the post for the bounties. Let's say sample adventure. Druidic Grove. Give a title to the adventure, whatever you want. FC is your name, and then number of PC 4 PCs level 1. Okay. For the hook, right? I have some sort of what's the word? A specific formula to make the hook. It's one sec. It's verb object from ally or opposition in location before opposition gain it or by time. What I'm talking about is something like this. It's something like okay, steal or retrieve or collect or protect. All right, so the verb, and then an object, a scroll, a crystal skull, a magical gem, whatever it is, the MacGuffin inside this game, from the raging wolf spirit, or from ant, evil insane druid, the opposition, in, well, the location. Remember the fantastic location we name it, Wolf Skull Hill. So that's the name of the location. Speaking of location, I forgot to say, it's preferably you guys want to run this in outside of terra firma. If you want a lot of freedom, just portal out. inside. Okay, so back to the hook. Still retrieve, collect whatever a scroll in the megafin from the opposition in a location, and then you give them some sort of a built-in time limit. Because why? Because time limit creates urgency, and they also stop your players from overthinking. Imagine like if they have all the time in the world to figure this shit out, they'll come up with the most bizarre plan, and they'll say, okay, how about we go back to plane of fire, we collect the fire tree there, bring back here, find Gandalf in Tolkien, come back here, and then we try to burn a ritual. But if they have a limited time, a limited duration where they can succeed, successfully finish, complete the adventure, they'll be quick to come up with a solution. They stop wasting time. They cease to be trapped, in the trap of being, overthinking. So you could say before you can either give them a rival and another opposition, like before the clerics of Shar steal it first, or or you could say like a time limit by midnight, or by within 24 hours, or within an hour if you want to being an ass about it. Within an hour. So within an hour, they don't have the luxury of long rest or short rest, for that matter. Up to you guys. So verb, a MacGuffin, an opposition, a location, and then a built-in time before the other opposition obtain the MacGuffin, or within a certain amount of time. So let's say retrieve the druid staff in Wolf Skull Hill from the raging spirit wolf before midnight. Why? I don't know. Maybe the skull, it's a skull. Maybe the maw will close in. It's a skull. Maybe by midnight, maybe in certain time, the skull lifts up like a wolf open its maw, and then by midnight it closes, and then trap the settlement trap underneath the skull forever. Something like that. I don't know. And then you can include that inside the hints and clues. Like here, every 100 years, the giant skulls open, and by midnight today it will close, and the settlement can only be accessed the next 100 years. Like, oh shit, now we have urgency. Now they are racing against time. No, they cannot mess around. They need to complete this game within, before midnight. Maybe they have access to short rest and long rest, because it's within, they have until midnight. But if they take long rest, that means they have a few hours left to complete the game. Like, you don't really have to keep track of time. You don't say, okay, if you walk here, it's just the time is abstract. It's just to push your players, just to drive your players to, to have that sense of urgency. Oh no, we cannot mess around. We need to go, 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 go. And that kind of thing is what really makes the game exciting. So we have the hook, we have the encounter list, we have the map, we have the set, we have the rooms, we have the hints and clues, we have the NPC, magic item rewards. This is basically, we're done with the notes. If you can see, it just took me like one roll of my mouse to get to the bottom. It could be longer because of we might need 3 at most encounters, and fill in the blanks here, whatever. And make sure to pin. This is very important. You need to pin all these notes that you just made, so your CM can check it out. See, it's nice. You have the bounty post, you have the encounter list, and then you have the DM notes. It's easier for you as well. So we've done that. Next, once you're done with your DM notes, you can pick your council members. Council members, is this adventure ready? And then you say, okay, is this adventure ready? And you say yes or no, and then you wait. It could take 8 hours up to 48 hours up to them. It has been slow lately, but they'll okay. Council members will come in, and then they'll have questions. They'll ask questions about the encounters, maybe something about the lore. Um, Kelgrax would like to ask about the lore. Ran usually asks about stories and stuff. Uh, if you run the game within Terraforma, it's very important for you to ask for Sylvie's counsel. If the place is actually run in Terraforma, your adventure in Terraforma, you need to include in the queue. Say, don't ping her, don't ping her. You say, Sylvie, need your lore counsel for blah 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 backstage, and you post the same in here as well. Do not ping her, remember, don't ping her, just leave it in the queue, and then she'll come and consult you in your backstage. Why? Because she have rights on Terraforma setting, so she will tell you what makes sense, what doesn't. Okay, so sometimes CM will ask you to change some elements in your DM nodes. Um, and if you want their vote later, because maybe you guys know about this, maybe you guys don't. To after you run the adventure, if you want to see if this adventure is canon or non-canon, that means it will, whatever things happen will be taken into account. You will need a vote, a yes vote from all or more than 50% of the CM present. So if you want their vote, just change whatever. Like maybe they are not happy with it. Hey, this raging wolf spirit, it doesn't really ring. Doesn't really make sense to the lore, because some, I don't know, maybe some totem barbarians see wolf spirit as a sacred thing or whatever, and then they say, can you change it to an alien beast? You know what, yeah, sure, alien beast. Alien beast it is, dude. You can probably you can probably negotiate and say, dude, this game is actually about druidic lore. Try to be polite about it. Say, this, listen, dude, this game is about druidic lore. I wanna use opposition that really ring with the druidic thematic theme. And I say, okay, all right, and then you can use it. Wolf spirit, angry, very angry. Like, you don't want to argue with them. You're not the only backstage they review. So if they ask to change, just if you want their vote, just change it. Don't argue with them. And then uh, and then when all the CM vote yes, 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 once approved, then and only then you can copy this part, and then you can put it finally inside the not a bounty board. Yeah. And if you fancy like me, you can probably pick an image or something and put it at the bottom. And that's all for preparing, our topic, setting up the backstage and making DM notes. I hope you guys learn a lot about this lecture. So we go down to intermission. Hey kid, what's up? We're just talking about running a game in our server at the moment. If you don't know what we're talking about, another world, I'll leave the link in chat later. But right now we come to the point where you guys can ask me any question, and I'll any question that related to today's topic, and I'll answer to the best of my abilities. All right. You guys have any question for me? You can shoot. It's better if you guys put the question mark at the beginning of your sentence, so I know it's a question or whatever. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, CV like to give you a hard time because it's her lore, and it's her setting, and you wanna, if you wanna run inside this setting, you wanna work around with the lore. You need to do a lot of homework. Try to read the word lore uh channel inside the server. Check the world anvil. Nice. Oh, excuse me. All right. You guys have any question for me about DM notes and preparing DM notes? If you guys interested, my citation for today's topic is, Sly Flourish, Return of the Lazy Dungeon Master book. I'm not sure if you can get it. I think you can get it from RPG Drive Through. And my other citation is from Trap Theory from Runehammer. You can check it on YouTube. That one is free. Is the best tips I've ever learned. Oh yeah, yeah, that happens. We deal with adventure case by case. Sometimes people will meet a lot of issues. I know you guys want to go crazy with the DM notes, but trust me, the simpler it is, the easier it is for CM to approve it, because it has, less things for them to read, less things for them to adjudicate. There were times last year, I think, I just keep whipping out adventures one after another using this method, and then I get approved most of the time with minimal changes from CM. I just hope that whatever I share today will help people to, encourage them to run a game in another world. By the way, Kate, I'll just tell you right now. Another world is our West March D&D server is play by post. I'll give you the link later. Maybe I'll just drop the link inside the chat. Give me a sec. Hey, thanks for the follow. Yeah, it could be intimidating at first, but the best way to learn how to DM. Well, this is not really DM. This is more like a what we call firefly catching. Firefly catching in the server, because you don't really have a total control. Like dungeon masters is a different beast. Dungeon masters have a lot of call with like who's playing in the game, what sort of rule we're gonna play, how they adjudicate. If you have a written spell you use in game, and then the DM said, you know what, actually today I want the spell to react a different way, and believe it or not, you like it or not, it it just works like that. Like that's why they're called dungeon master. But not here. Here's a firefly catcher. If firefly catcher is trying to whip out a weird adjudication, CM will have a say in it. They have to deal with this CM. It is one way for us to moderate the games, not to not try to. So hopefully well, first of all, people will have a fair and fun game. Second, they're not, so we could avoid breaking the game. Yeah, that's very wise. You can run an NCA game, but an NCA game, the con is you won't get an input by CM, so you don't really, able to grasp what sort of game the council are looking for to be run inside the server. Like NCA game is the best way to test the water of how DMing will work. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. They help with the backstage. They like I don't know, the dirty blunt way to put it is they just back CPM. Yeah, council members. Yeah, co-manager. It's what we call in server. It's basically moderators because the council member they not only vote, you know, the rules that will be applied to the server, but they also help with the lore. That's what they're there. Yeah, they like co-managing is one way to put it in the backstage. Because we want to avoid, like I said, game breaking stuff. Like we have a situation last time. I don't think I'm allowed to say this, but this is some sneak peek. I'm just gonna share just with you guys who actually show up to the stream. So this is like a bonus. Like you wanna we were trying to avoid once somebody trying to pull a remember the formula I said just now about how to yield certain tiers of a magic item? Like you need to have a okay, right? You need a hard difficulty for a party of four, and then depends on what level they are, they can yield certain magic item. So for difficulty, imagine it's a difficulty encounter, but you're just fighting against 100 chickens. It's just difficulty. It's just difficult because of the action economy. But one fireball, poof, they can yield magic item. That's kind of a BS we're trying to avoid. That's why the council members are here. It's different. If you're a dungeon master, you have a total say, you veto in your own game. But this is since it's a social Dungeons and Dragon community, we try to keep it fair for everybody. Yeah, the Zelda chickens. Right. If you guys don't have any questions for me, I'm gonna wrap it up. Uh, I'm looking forward to for you guys to join me in the next session. We're going to have three of this. Today is a setting up backstage and DM notes. Next week, same time, 8 p.m. GMT +8. We're gonna have running the game and Glay, and then the next weeks will be about report and CAD and the reward for running the game. Believe it or not, if you run a game, you're gonna yield some cash. Well, not really cold cash, more like silver coins cash in game for for your player characters in Dungeons and Dragons. Oh no, Kit is actually somebody a friend of mine in my art server. All right. All right, thanks for the game. For not thanks for the game. Thank you for coming, guys, and I hope to see you guys here next week. But see you guys around in game later. Bye bye.
Feel the pain, live the grind. I could change in my mind. Pick a lane, commit and climb. The only way to win at life. I never miss, that's fact. Taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat. Put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag. Cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light. Ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel. I took the red pill. I know life's short, so I wanna live real. But how's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? How's it supposed to feel? They wanna say my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on the shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than